All right, so, this is the opportunity for you all to share with us anything that you didn't get a chance to highlight in your application or in the supplementary questions. Thank you for sending those back to us. And, I know we have some folks here who is there a time constraint? Do we want to start?
Is it okay?
Is
Their
that-
children know, yeah.
Yeah, so
They're
would
waiting.
you like to start with that piece? And if there's something that you'd like to share with us first, please feel free. Or if there are questions that our team has here, we can do that as well. Since we've already introduced ourselves. Because I do appreciate you being here. I want to make sure that we don't keep you for too long.
So if you wanted to maybe share a little bit about your experience with Turn and how that has impacted your child and maybe their school experience, you want to go ahead?
Okay. As Ms. C said, I'm Shanita Green. My son is Justin. He is a 5th grader over with Abraham Elementary. And he's never had to go to after school camp. Our lives have went through some changes, so I had to enroll him. And it was almost like a godsend that I was told to come here. And it was like a space opened when he needed to come. And as far as tutoring, every child needs tutoring, but he does really well with schoolwork. But he was very quiet, very closed and shy. So him coming here has really opened him up. And it's almost like a godsend. I see a different child.
Amen.
It's like he's growing, he's maturing. And I was really worried about him going to the 6th grade. Because I'm like, elementary and middle school are 2 different worlds. So now my fears have eased because I feel like he's learning how to express himself and interact with other kids on a different level other than I'm in the classroom sitting with my school peers. So let's see, and everyone that's here, I love them. The very first day it was like, oh, you're supposed to be here.
Right. That's exactly how it is.
Yeah, it's like, you're supposed, what do you mean? You're supposed to be here. So I love it.
And I have to say, we're very fortunate to even have Justin as well, because Justin is our go-to person that we can say, okay, Justin, this is how Miss C was taught to do these fractions. And I know they're talking about partitions, and we sit in some of the classrooms to do some observation, but when they start going into fractions is me, reading is Miss Shawn, geometry is Mr. TJ. But Justin would come and say, sometimes I'll choose different ones because I don't want them to feel like it's always just Justin that I'm going to. So I said, okay, what did you come up with? Okay, what did you? But I always, whatever Justin say, I just about know that's the gospel. So what I've done is Justin is the youngest, and I think it's about 11 years between he and his brother. And then we have another young man who is getting ready to become an older brother, and he's been the only child for 9 years. So I've kind of paired them together because he doesn't have an older brother and Justin doesn't have a younger brother. So they kind of sit together, and he kind of helps whatever child that kind of needs some help when we're checking homework. The adults, and they all know the adults has to be the last one to look at the homework. But they are allowed to kind of sit with other ones, and because sometimes they learn best when they're talking to their peers. So, thank you, Ms. Green.
Okay, let me tell you. When they first sent home saying that Chandler was supposed to come to this program, my first question was, well, is this just a babysitting service? He doesn't need a babysitting service. He can come to my house. Teacher said, I don't know anything about it. You'll have to find out yourself. So I brought him here. Now, this program is a very good program, but Chandler really could have benefited from last year. But last year there was no support system. He didn't have me in his life. And his mom wasn't very good at picking him up regular and getting homework done with him. But that being said, now that he's in this program, he gets his homework done here. I could pick up that slack, but what he learned here that I couldn't do, because he felt nobody liked him. He had no friends. Where I live in a retirement area. There aren't kids running up and down the street. He goes over to Prince Abraham, he says nobody likes him, everybody picks on him, he's different. But when he came here, there was none of that. They accepted him for who he was, he fit in, and he began to feel good about himself. And they do all different activities. I don't know exactly what they do here, but I know. But I know that he's learning to play chess, and I know he has friends, and I know he's outside running around, and I know his homework's always done, and he's learning, and he's reading. He can say, I read. He gets his reading done, so he's not just sitting here being babysat. And I think they do a good job, but I think they could use some help because I think their pockets are getting empty.
Thank you, Grandma.
It's hard because I don't want to say everything that they just said, but everything
That's
that they
true.
said is like, you know, it's like, well, dang, what else can I throw in? I guess I would say for my daughter, who's a 4th grader at Abraham, myself and her teacher didn't have the greatest rapport. So on top of everything that I got, including everything that they said, Turn helped build a rapport between myself and my child's teacher. I went to Miss C. I said, I don't like her. I need to switch my child's class. This isn't going to work. And, you know, we were new to this school. And she was like, well, just wait, you know. And true Miss C form, just calm down. Just handle it. I'm like, okay. Well, now, you know, me and the teacher can communicate without Miss C being in the middle. Like, we don't have to have her as the middle person. My child, her grades, just everything about her, everything that they said, the grades, her interaction, because she's shy and she just, you know, she'll sit in a group of people, but she's just there.
Yeah.
But now, you know, I have to find her when I get like, okay, she's right there, okay, you know, and she hates for me to come pick her up early. If I show up and it's 5:30, she's like, it's not time to go. Oh, okay, I'll be back. They are, like, they never want to leave. They love, and they feel like family. It's like going to pick up your kids from a family member who's teaching them a lot of things, and they love being here. They can't wait for school to end, and they hate for the parents to show up.
And I think somehow in the course of this, he's learned how to get attention without getting in trouble. Because it seemed like the only way he could get attention at school was to do something wrong. And now he's trying to learn there's other ways to get attention.
And I have to say the support of the family and the parents has been phenomenal. We partnered, the church is our largest partner at this point, and whenever the church youth department has something, they open up the doors for Turn students to participate as well. So they had a lock-in, and I was so proud to say that Turn had the most children here at the lock-in. So I was here at the beginning of the lock-in, and when they started saying, Miss C, I said, I'm just looking and observing, I'm leaving. And they actually ended up staying overnight, and they had a ball, and they came back talking about how much fun they had. So that's a plus with us being able to be here and being included in whatever activities, because it is a community-based organization. And the community-based organization partnering with the faith-based organization has helped them tremendously. When I was telling Ms. Jackson, I was telling Katura, when the kids see Bishop is also, we use him for whatever we have to. He's also our van driver 2 days a week. So, and I tell him all the time, I'm docking your pay. You will But when he comes in and now, you know, he would go around and say, hey man. So now all the guys, when they see him, hey man. So they all, that's the kind of thing here. So I do appreciate you all coming, and I don't know if there's anything you all want to ask.
I've seen you someplace before, but I don't know where. I keep looking at things, man, you're familiar. Where have I seen you? I do have a question if I'm asked a question. You people said you're on job. What?
Work Family Resource Center.
What exactly do y'all do?
We help families find child care. We help people open child care centers. And we're partnering with Turner in this project to do a network or some type of civic child care solution that will encompass children birth to 12 years of age, so that we can ensure that people have the child care that they need.
That's great. That's what I wanted to look at.
Does that program help serve families that care for grandchildren and relatives and friends and neighbors that care for and help connect parents that are in need of care with other individuals in the community that are interested in providing care.
Oh, that's very great.
So that brings me to, Mom,
I knew you were gonna say that.
this is Ms. Hayes who was asking about opening child care. And that, these are the ladies that I said, oh, that'll work for you, so.
Okay.
There you go.
We'll touch base. Okay, sure. We'll do it through Carrie. Yeah.
I did have one question before you have to head out. How did you get connected with Turn? You said there was a
Baker
teacher.
came home saying he qualified for this program. And I really didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what you had to do to get qualified. And I still, so we went to the first meeting and they just said that he needed help in tutoring and that they didn't have a room in school to tutor him. So that's how he got to qualify to come here. So he could get some tutoring. Yeah.
Our situation was a little crazy. My sister, she called me and she said, "It's a great program, my kids are going to it." And I said, "Oh, well, what's the name of it?" She told me, again, I'm new to the neighborhood, so I'm like, "Oh, okay. You have a phone number?" So she said, "Yeah." So I called Missy and I go, "I think I want to bring my child to your program." And she goes,
No, that's not what she said. She said, this number was left on my phone. And I looked around and I said, what, did I call this person? And then when I met her, she said, I'm sorry.
She's in the program.
I was totally truthful.
I snuck her in. She needed to be here. I smuggled her in. Just,
No, I
she's part of the
was
group.
very reluctant about the program because my two other grandchildren, actually, we paid money to send them to the Y after-school care their entire life, just about. And all it was a babysitting service. And I said, we don't need a babysitting service. I can stay home and do more important stuff. So I really was pretty leery of the program, but it surpassed whatever I thought it was going to be. That surpassed it.
And me personally, it was basically, I went to the school and asked, what after-school programs do y'all have here at the school? And they was like, oh, we don't have after-school programs, but we can give you some numbers. So they gave me 3 numbers, and the only one, I think it was God. It was Miss C. It just worked out. I mean, I called everybody, and I even went to the Y. I went to the Boys and Girls Club, and it just wasn't feeling right. This felt right. And like I said, when I called, it was almost like a godsend. A child was leaving, so it was a space open, and he could slide in. Like
The
it
Y
was
was
slid
a lot.
in.
Right,
It
right.
cost a lot
She
of
couldn't tell
money
my child
to
what she
teenagers
did.
for watching kids.
Right.
It was pretty bad.
Right.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here. I know you have to drag your kids out. Pick them and scream.
Thank you.
sad
We
now.
free to go?
Thank
Please.
you.
So much.
Think about helping us out now. There's a lot more children out there that need help.
See you on Monday.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. You guys have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Over here.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm happy to turn it over to you to talk a little bit more about how the program developed and a little bit more about what's exciting for you and how it's different.
Sorry, senior moment.
You got my purse.
Senior moment. I wasn't going too far.
All right, well, when we were trying to think after attending some of the Place Matters information sessions, trying to think about what our expertise was and how we might partner with residents in the community to try to help meet a need or help residents figure out a way to meet a need. We were talking about several things, and Carrie was in the office one day talking with Ms. Nellums, who is one of our provider specialists, and she said something about looking for grant funding, and was there a way that we could help with that? And I said, well, tell me about your program, kind of what you're doing, and just got to thinking, because we deal with child care subsidy and with helping families find child care, we often find that families won't qualify because of the number of hours they work, or that they're in school but they're not in school for enough hours. They're trying to manage that child care need in an informal way. And the work that Work Family has always done and Smart Start does is toward licensing and toward getting programs licensed. But there really isn't anything in our community that helps to connect the informal care, whether it is a grandmother caring for her grandchildren or a neighbor helping out a neighbor. And there's not any way right now for them to reach out to address issues. Maybe they're wanting to help their grandchild or this young person that they're caring for prepare for school, to get ready for kindergarten, or to help them out once they are in school. And so we said, well, there are Kith and Kin or family, friend, and neighbor care projects across the country that have been successful at addressing that need, so that when you have an informal network of care, it allows for those individuals to come together. They get to share knowledge and resources and seek out information or training that will help them either with behavior concerns they're having with their children or with helping prepare for school. What Carrie and Turn does, it provides that school age, that after school care, that is as great a need as care for children in that 0 to 5 component. And because most of the work that we're funded for tends to be on that 0 to 5 end, we do referrals for child care programs, but most of the technical assistance that we do tends to be for younger children. So we thought, well, if we could partner with Turn, expand the work they're doing, work within the neighborhood area to connect resources to individuals that currently care for children, for individuals like Mrs. Hayes that are interested in building an actual business and doing this as a career. It allows us to help guide them and probably just move them into some of the work that we do through Work Family. But we would be able to help her look at whether her program would have lots of competition on the next corner, or if she is in an area of the neighborhood where she actually could make a successful business, because there is some not small amount of upfront cost associated with getting into a licensed program. Also in the Kith and Kin family, friend, and neighbor care, sometimes it's a grandmother and she really wants to care for her grandchildren and she's not necessarily interested in doing it in a professional way. She wants to be that, but she needs help in trying to manage behavior or in how to make sure that things are safe or helpful, or just wants that connection with other individuals. I mean, it can be somewhat isolating if you are by yourself caring for your grandchild and there isn't someone, you don't know of others that you can connect with. So this project really wants to work with area residents to establish a network of family, friend, and neighbor care that will allow both the parents and the caregivers to make connections to each other, to allow for training or information about a certain topic or how to, prepare a child for school or things you want to look for, and then help Turn expand the work that they do so that that after school component and that summer care is, they've done a great job with very minimal resources. And if they could expand that program to reach more children throughout the neighborhood, it would provide volunteer opportunities for some of the teens or older residents that are in the community. It would certainly help with some of those third grade reading and math skills that children struggle with sometimes. Mr. Cockett, the principal of Ibraham, has spoken to how much more the children that are in this program accept responsibility for their own learning and have managed their own personal behaviors that were somewhat disruptive before. They have kind of understood that those aren't productive and that they are able to expand their opportunities by kind of learning how to manage that and really focusing on getting their education. So childcare is this whole spectrum from when you're caring for an infant all the way up through a young teenager, and guidance along the way from individuals that care for children, have a true love for those children, as well as having knowledge about child development and how to, at any given age, enhance a child's development, are really beneficial. And then parents would understand that if someone is part of this network and has taken some training and understands about caring for children, that if I live in this community and I don't have a grandmother that's close by, or I don't have an aunt or a sister that I know of, but I am a single mom and I need help finding someone to care for my child, then I could approach this network and be connected to someone that might be willing to trade off or do that service for me.
Now, myself, on the other hand, when I came out of school in 2012, and actually, it was not my plan to go back into child care because I was connected through Work Family Resource. I had my own daycare, which kind of took me through my years of college. And then afterwards, I was approached by Bishop Turner about trying to do something different. And I said, well, the way to connect to adults to help revitalize this area, because my understanding this was a very booming area. And then the spirit began to die from this area. So my thought was, let's try and revitalize the community in which we worship. I live on the south and east side of town. And let's do it through children. And if we can get to the children, we can get to the adults. So after school, I started, well, right before school ended, I started to research this area and kind of research the child care and the schools within the area. My plan was, my degree was in political science, and it was to do something from the education perspective on a state level, because I was kind of disappointed of the local area. I've always been, I'm the parent that always says, I'm the parent that's representing the parents that can't be here when my children were in elementary, and I've also substituted. So what I've done, what I decided to do with the help of my husband was work at night so that we can be self-sustaining. So I work third shift so that I can be here by the time my babies get off the van by 3 o'clock. And that's one of the things that we've done. We we go to the schools, we observe the class. I'm an advocate for both the teacher and I apologize about that, an advocate for both the teacher as well as the students. And as Ms. Hayes was saying, I do get a lot of time where parents are saying they're frustrated or how they feel at the school, and I've even had to tell parents, I get calls at night. I'm going up to that school and I'm going to do whatever, and I'm saying to them, okay, Miss C, if you don't go with me, here's the deal. I'll go with you. We'll sit in the class, but you can't open your mouth. Well, it does two things. It allows that parent to go to that school and through their observation, learn what's going on in that school. One of the criteria for their child to come here is we have monthly parent meetings. They have to come. This has been a free service for the past 3 years, and this will be our first year actually charging, starting in the summer. And